Todd Young, who's about to vote in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee in less than an hour from now, half an hour from now. Sir, good to see you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria, for having me.
You will be voting yes on Mike Pompeo. Why?
He's qualified. I mean, he's one of the sharpest people that's ever been nominated to this position. Finished first in his class at West Point. He's been successful in every endeavor he's ever pursued with respect to his professional life, and he's proven himself. Not just to the President of the United States, but he's also earned the respect of foreign leaders, friend and foe alike. It's a dangerous time. It's really important for those of us who believe in the power of diplomacy to have our chief diplomat in place right now. And for those who would oppose him, I think the burden is on them to explain why they supported him in many instances to serve as Director of Central Intelligence just months ago, and now they choose to oppose him to serve as their chief diplomat.
So what is that about? I mean, we know that when he was up for an earlier job a year ago, as we've been talking about all day, he was unanimous that they wanted him in place, and now all of a sudden they're playing politics. I mean, is that what this is? Is this just part of the resist movement? And how do you do that in the face of the major amount of threats that we have from Iran to North Korea?
You know, I certainly don't have a reputation around here as a bomb thrower, Maria, but I think one could fairly draw that inference that there's some political dynamics at play. If a senator fails to explain why they just months ago supported Mike Pompeo for a very important position, the head of the CIA, and now they oppose him for Secretary of State without any further explanation, I think that's really troubling, and it speaks to how poisoned sometimes our politics can become, even with respect to foreign policy. As a Marine, as someone who has served our country in uniform and cares deeply about those in the field, as I know so many Republicans and Democrats alike do, I think we owe it to our men and women in uniform especially to explain why there would be an inconsistency between these votes.
Yeah, I mean, the president tweeted out this, saying, hard to believe obstructionists may vote against Mike Pompeo for Secretary of State. The Dems will not approve hundreds of good people, including the ambassador to Germany. They are maxing out the time on approval process for all. Never happened before. Need more Republicans. Do you believe that this will come back to haunt the Democrats come the midterm elections? Are people going to remember that they're all about resist and not getting things done?
You know, I think I haven't been around politics all that long. It's been 7 years since I've been in public life now, but I know this. Sometimes partisanship can serve one well in a primary election, but come the general election, most people just want us to get things done. And if you're seen as hyper-partisan and obstructionist, that will serve to your disadvantage. And yes, I do think it could harm some of my colleagues. So I would caution that they try and just focus on the qualifications of the nominee here. Yeah. And remember the history. Republicans and Democrats alike supported John Kerry, over 90 votes in the U.S. Senate. Right. Republicans and Democrats alike supported Hillary Clinton, over 90 votes in the U.S. Senate, both for Secretary of State. I would argue that Mike Pompeo is every bit as qualified as those two individuals to serve in this position.
All right, we will leave it there. Senator, good to see you. Thanks so much.